What's good? What's good, peoples? It is Thursday. We run a little bit behind technical difficulty. It does happen, but we'll worry about that later. Today, I got a gentleman coming all the way from BX. And for y'all don't know what BX is, that is
Or
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
So without further ado, he on a promo run doing this thing. I got HD in the building, man. Welcome to Spotlight. What's up, HD?
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Man, it's no problem, bro. I appreciate you taking the time to stop at the coffee table and rap a taste with us and tell us some things.
Where's my
So,
coffee? I'm kidding.
yeah, dig that right. Facts off the gate.
yeah, yeah. I'm
Um,
kidding. I'm kidding.
are you good, bro? You at the coffee
Yeah,
table? We speak freely and say we want, man. If we're not having
correct.
fun, it's not good business.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, digging right into it, what was it like growing up in BX?
Um. Well, BX is actually over here in New York. BX is more like the Bronx. That's what they say BX is. BK is like Brooklyn.
Ah, okay.
That's the thing. But anyway, I would say it was eye opening. It was influential. Um, it was great. It was artistic. Um, it was fun. Growing up in Brooklyn and being around different uh, people who were influenced by many different forms of music that I ended up listening to and being birthed by. It was very influential to be around different types of people who were listening to different types of music, and those same people that would listen to these different types of music that I grew up listening to also helped me grow in a way to develop as a young teenager and as a young adult, ultimately in Clint Hill specifically, where I grew up, right like on Cambridge between Fulton and Gates, right around the corner from St. James. Yeah, where Biggie Smalls actually was grew up over there in that area as well. So I was always around, that hip hop community, that hip hop environment, the culture of the arts, uh, in that time. So it was great. Very fortunate.
As an outside looking in, not being from New York, is there a difference from Fulton Street back in Biggie's era and now, or still just the same?
Well, it's entirely different now. I think, from that before it was more, it was very, I would say it was, unsafe in some ways, because of it was, lot of you know activities that were taking place that I won't disclose so much on here.
Understandable.
But it was rough in a way, and you had to know the right people. You had to have a certain awareness. You had to have a certain survival skill and what have you growing up in that time. And now it's more so, obviously, gentrification is something that's happening not just in New York but all over the US. And I think now where Brooklyn is very much gentrified in a way, whereas there's coffee shops, there's yoga studios, and
Right, right.
grocery stores, and bike stores, and all these things. But I think it's nice. Somebody said this the other day. They were like, "Well, I rather it now because my kid can walk to school without having to duck their head." You know what I mean? So I think that's the difference. So in a way, it is a positive thing. But I think what we're missing now in this particular generation is the culture, the art. I think that's something that's being washed away a little bit more as this new gentrification comes in. They almost don't even really magnify what was there. It's like they try to, erase it and create their own thing, there in these elements, and some
Right.
do, appreciate it, but some don't. But I feel like that's something that has happened in the, previously. But you do have natives who are still in these areas who are still, enforcing the culture and what these areas truly represent, and whom was originated from these particular locations. So, I was one of them.
Um, You said that people don't appreciate the gentrification. Explain what you mean by that.
Well, more so, I think some people will say, well, they're kicking us out, or they're kicking all the natives out, and the natives don't have nowhere to go, and it's like, and then also the things, the neighborhood gets more high price, the housing
Right.
gets more high price, the rent goes up, the houses get more expensive, the grocery store is more expensive, the bike store is more expensive, the whole neighborhood is more expensive, and there's a particular class of people that are moving into this location, right? And it's a certain demographic that's moving into these locations. So some people would get upset and say, this used to be mine. I used to be here. This is what I, used to do. And, some people wouldn't appreciate it in that sense. But then you have on the flip side, some people are like I said, my kid can walk down the block now to go to school. I could go to the grocery store. I can go to a cafe and sit down and work on my computer without having to get into any altercation. So it's a little much more safe in a way, on that end. So I think that's, you have people who appreciate it and then some people who don't. But I think it's progress and eventually it's going to happen. And, I think what happened was the people that are coming in now, they saw that the people that were there didn't really appreciate it, and
Hmm.
they trashed the streets, they didn't treat it correctly, they didn't do all the right things to the neighborhood. They had it already, they didn't buy the buildings. They were doing XYZ. They had the ability to buy the buildings when they were 10,000, $25,000. Now they're 25 million, 10 million. So it's like those same people come in and like, you know what, we're going to do something to it because you didn't see the beauty in it.
Right.
You only saw the beauty of the people that were there, you didn't see the beauty in what you had. So I think that's something that happened as well.
I
But
mean, you know, America has always tried to cover up or reinvent situations, if that makes sense.
correct.
Um, and it's always about money. I mean, like I said, of course,
Absolutely.
gentrification brings in money, but who is to say that as African Americans we didn't appreciate our neighborhood? Who says it wasn't ghetto love back then? But if you have a messed up neighborhood from the time you're born, what is I mean, what is I'm not gonna say you don't appreciate it, but how can you really clean it up if it gets worse as time go on, as you get older and becoming a teen to an adult?
Correct. And is also because, if the mentality is not, you know, um, sharp, then of course the neighborhood can't become great, right? If the mentality is not there, and of course, when you don't have access to certain resources, right? when they
Facts,
when you
facts.
get this big help from you, you don't know about certain things. So how do you know to
Right.
even put plants in your neighborhood? You know what I mean? How do you even know to,
Hmm.
open up a store? How do you even know to, get funding from how do you even know these things? Now, some people did know, but a majority didn't know. So it's like, of
Right.
course, there's, like you said, that happened. America knows how to do that really well. It knows how to take advantage of a situation. But I think what I love to see now is specifically in Clint Hill. You do have a lot of, black-owned brownstones, people who are there that are,
Okay.
neighbors that I knew who were still there, who kept their houses, who didn't sell them. So great for them. The people that are still there,
Right.
who are still a part of that community, and whom are the ones that are enforcing the culture, Black culture, African American culture in these neighborhoods throughout. And as far as the food also, and I think that's something that I see in Brooklyn that's happening really well. That the African American culture thriving throughout. Bedford Stuyvesant is continuing. And we're owning more shops, we're owning more stores and things like that. And I think that's very amazing. And I think we should continue to do so, because you know we are native to those neighborhoods,
Right.
in
Native
that
to the
sense.
land, period.
But it's a great thing overall. But I think what's really important is diversity, right? I think that's
Mhm.
the major factor, because you have to be able to adapt, and you have to be able to be a chameleon, and wherever you are. And if you don't know how to be a chameleon, you can't absorb a lot of information, and you can't then, if you don't absorb the information, you're not absorbing the knowledge, right? So if you are a chameleon, you're able to adapt to all these different situations, all these different cultures, because it's not just two, it's many cultures around the world that we should all be, open to experience, and if it's coming in through these neighborhoods, why not? We're all sharing this world together at the end of the day, you know.
Facts. And I'm
At
actually
the end of the
glad
day.
you said that we're actually sharing
Yeah.
the world, because it is still some racism out there to where they feel like
Of course.
we're not equal, or they still run the country, if that makes sense.
Of course.
Before we continue, I have to congratulate you on your success, because I had studied your bio, and you've been on numerous radio stations, numerous magazines. I mean, as an independent artist, excuse me, that's a nice accomplishment, because a lot of people who are major artists have not even tipped or touched the ground on certain things like that. So, how do you feel doing all that leading up to the present right now to current? How do you feel of what you've accomplished?
I feel very grateful.
You're getting shy. Here we go.
Very grateful. It's very fulfilling, when you're looking at the beginning up
Okay.
until the standing point of how much work you put in and how much work other individuals put in a part of your movement, your team, to help you get there, to succeed. um, it's very rewarding, the feeling. But
Okay.
it also, you also recognize, all the lessons you've learned, all the growth that you've been able to accomplish, all the lessons, all the experiences with the people that you're interviewing, such like tonight. All these things add up to you becoming the greatest version of yourself eventually, to when you get on more platforms and more and more and more and more, where these discussions seem like a regular talk. Some people are really shy. Some people can't get in front of a camera and talk naturally and let it be what it is. But it comes through experience, it comes through practice, it comes through meeting people, it comes through relationships, it comes through all these different things. So I would say it's very fulfilling to be able to have looked at all those podcasts, all the radio stations, all the venues, etc., and to say that I'm still growing. And for me, as an artist, I'm not like I was just explaining this the other day. I'm not in a rush. A lot of artists are in this have this urgency to just be famous, be rich really quickly. You know, like, and I know for me, like, I know this thing takes time. It takes consistent, takes discipline, it takes growth in yourself. You may have to
Right.
do other things as the artist and to grow in other fields and try other things in your life to become the greatest version of yourself, especially as an artist. Because as an artist, you're not just great at one thing. You can do many different things and be
Facts. Very
successful
true.
at other things. So I'm only saying you can't put all your eggs in one basket. You don't want to narrow yourself. You want to be open to all different opportunities, and because this will make you a better artist. The artist is just not the person who's just rapping, getting on the stage. The artist is the person who's making the deals, who's coming up with the ideas, coming up with the movies, commercials, whatever it
Mhm.
is. It's so many ways of being an artist. Not just putting a mic to your mouth. You know.
And I do agree with you, but I have to throw 2 cents in on that.
Mhm.
You're very right about that. But if that artist don't know or is not educated, he think, okay, let me go in the studio. I'm done. Let me go sit back home and smoke my blunt and let me chill. They don't know
Correct.
that you can produce. They don't know you can maybe direct, or as well as it's other avenues to build your brand. They don't even know they're a brand. They just an artist.
It's funny. You hit the. That's the greatest. You just nailed it. The brand. The brand. The brand. It's the most one of the most important things
Mhm.
you in your arsenal as an artist, right? Because the music has to move with something besides just the music. It has to be attached to something. It has to be represented by something. It has to be represented by a brand. The music should be in movies, commercials. It should be in stores. It should be in not just only radio stations and internet. It should be in all
Right.
these different avenues. Your lyrics should be on T-shirts. It should be but that comes with making relationships with these brands. You know,
Facts. Facts.
developing relationships with these brands. Doing all the necessary things, building personal relationships. And unfortunately, we live in this digital age now where everybody thinks it's only going to work on the internet. You got to really build real relationships with people. You got to really be in the room discussing with people, right? Like these are all the things, the necessary things that you're supposed to do. And some artists feel like it's going to happen in 2 seconds. No, this takes time. And that's one thing about me. That's why like I'm really like I'm in a point of my life where it's like I'm really growing step by step.
Okay.
You know, I'm not in a rush of just like I'm not in a quick fame or anything like that. I'm gonna grow this thing step by step. It's important.
Very. To be on, I'm not gonna say on, to be in Double XL, Hip Hop Weekly, um, Shade Room, things like that, Urban Islands. When you had that opportunity, when you got done, was you like, wow, Double XL, Urban Islands, Shade Room? Like, was it kind of tripped out, or you just took it like at a stride?
It's a try. It's just like it's another. I took it as it's another step.
Okay.
It's another platform. It's another thing. It's another part of growth. It's another part of excelling. It's another relationship. It's another experience. I always see with me. I never get tripped up over anything because I always look at it as everything is this, like, in a sense, from my perspective, it's all great. Everything is big. Nothing. No platform is bigger than it. Now, granted, one platform logistically may have more numbers than this platform, but for me personally, how I feel about it is that I'm going to treat it all the same if I'm performing in front of two people or if I'm performing in front of the whole Barclays Center. I look at it all as I'm going to give my best performance no matter what. That's the truth, and that's how I see it. I see it all like they're all big. They were all major platforms that I've done, and I'm grateful for each and every last one of them.
As a new generation, younger artist, rapper, do you
Yeah.
feel? How do you feel when they say hip hop is dead nowadays, or it's time for a what's the word I want to say? I don't want to say clean house. I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say it's time to rebuild. How do you feel about that?
I would say, I get why people are saying hip hop is dead. I really I understand. And I won't go in so much about why I agree with that statement. Um, I do. What I would say is I feel as if the creative aspect of hip hop is definitely diminishing, and I feel it's because music is being made for different purposes now. I see that music is being made just for um, quick dances on the internet. Everything is more virality based, viral based,
Mm-hmm.
more than just long term. And that's why I keep saying I'm here for the long run. If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it forever. I'm not gonna just be here today, gone tomorrow. I'm gonna grow it step by step, and no matter how long it takes me. But now we're in a generation where the artists are under pressure for like, I gotta make a hit song. I gotta make a song that's gonna go viral in 2 seconds.
Right,
if my song don't go viral, I gotta go to the studio and make another song to go viral. So now you have 1,000 songs about going viral. And so with that, what happens? Every song is a dance. Nothing is really about what people are going through. Nothing is really about connecting with people. Nothing is really about capturing events, capturing important events, capturing topics, cultural um, important topics. It's more like uh, media based music now, and the
I
way
mean,
people are consuming the music has become shorter, right? We went from 3 verses to 2 verses to 1 verse to 8 bars and a hook. You know what I'm saying? And then what happens is, guess what? The producers are now producing based on how the artists are creating songs. So
right.
producers make beats now where it's just like redundant all throughout. There's no there's no instruments, there's no live instrumentations, there's no it's just one beat, 1 minute, 8 bars, 2 hooks, call it a day. If they can dance to it, if it can go viral, if the girls, if it can play in a club, put it on. If it can get 1 million streams in 2 seconds, then that's it. And this is the type of music that we're making now. It's solely for the internet. That's what's happening. And of course, record labels are seeing it that it's lucrative for a split second. So they're like, okay, let's just sign the best viral songs. Like, let's not
Right.
even like pay attention to artists and groom them, grow them. We don't even want to waste the money on artists anymore because we don't want to waste the money. So if we can find the artists out there or the song that's hot at the moment, we don't even need to know this artist's name. We don't even need to know that he did a double XL interview 10 years ago. We just need to know that he has
Right.
20,000 followers. His
Yeah.
Instagram's numbers up. Spotify numbers is up. He got a necklace on, and he's sitting in front of a Maybach, and he got a viral song that 20, 50 people are dancing to. He must be hot. The song is playing. Let's just run with that one. That's
Right.
it.
I
That's
mean, well,
it.
not to be funny, it is the era of a single because there's a lot of rappers got
Correct.
3, 4 singles and is jumping compared to an album or EP.
Correct. Correct.
Um, that was a good point you made. That was definitely a good point.
It's
And
unfortunate though. It is. It's sad that we're seeing it happen this way, and it's not just in hip hop. It's also in movies. You look at movies, right? Movies are diminishing in time length. And movies used to run you for 3 hours. When you think they're gonna make another Godfather? Never. You're never gonna see another 4 3 hour movie like that, and then you have a sequel. Like, come on, attention span is too small now. It's like,
nah, 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 nah. We'll never see nothing like The Godfather. But far as
yeah, no, no, no.
something in that manner, I'm gonna say Marvel. Marvel is, or DC is possible to at least give you 2.5 hours. I will say
Correct.
that much.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Maybe even Disney might throw some about
Maybe even Disney,
two
yeah.
hours. But a
Maybe if the
Godfather.
kids can sit down for that long.
But you know what though? Here's the trick to that. If the kid's streaming from the house, they don't have to sit there. They can watch it later, but it's already paid for.
Exactly.
It's already
Exactly.
paid for.
Correct. Correct. I
Um,
agree.
I've noticed because I was gonna ask you, um, who inspired you, or what type of music makes you think and tick. But I don't have to because like I said, I studied your bio. Some of the artists don't add up to. I ain't gonna say don't add. I'm gonna rephrase it. Some of the artists are different compared to the norm. Like some people
Hmm.
go say, okay, Run DMC, Cool Mo D, Big Daddy Kane, Snoop. Your list was Jay Z, Sade, sorry about that, Prince, Marvin Gaye, Billy Idol, and Madonna. I like Billy Idol. I know who he is. I know who Madonna is. But to the world, they would not expect that to come from your way. So let's
Right.
talk about what is it about Billy Idol that you had to take a nugget or two or snippet from him to put him out there like that.
One of the songs that I really like was Uptown Girl. Excuse me, Billy Joel. Billy Joel, I think is what I mentioned in there. Um,
That's
you know, um, just the catalog of music, the production, the selected production, the melodies, the topics, uh, the metaphors. Sade. Um, just the warmth, the voice, the the pride, the poetry, the rhythm. Um, is one of the songs. Sweet as Taboo, which is a great record. Um, which is another one when she's like, I gotta think of the name. I can't think of it now. She's like, "Oh, can't get a job, Billy can't get a job." I forget what the song was. I forget. I'm gonna catch the title of the name soon. Madonna, I liked her because I like her because of her versatility,
Mhm.
her expressiveness, her openness, fearlessness. True Blue is one of my favorite records. Prince, I love him because of his fearlessness, his creativity, his ability to include different genres and put it into one, and add funk and add blues and add R&B and sing and play the guitar and play the drums and play the instruments. Obviously Jay-Z is one of my favorites because of the lyricism, the swag, the daringness, the audaciousness, the like just the bravery and also the cleverness of how he maneuvered through the music business to be successful as a business person. Marvin Gaye, The Voice. Um, when you hear Marvin Gaye, it's like you're in church. It's like you hear the pastor talking to you. So
Facts,
those
facts.
are those are just the little things of why I appreciate these particular artists that I've was raised upon, grew up listening to, and that list goes on and on and on and on and on. It goes on forever. I grew up in a household with 4 women whom listened to different types of music every day, and on each floor, they lived. And as I would go up and down these stairs in my household, I was always hearing different types of music. So I was very spoiled in that way. One floor I'd be listening to, Prince, and one floor I'd be listening to Michael Jackson, and one floor I'm listening to Anita Baker, and the other floor I'm listening to Whitney
Right.
Houston. So I always had that, um, versatility of listening to different sounds and things like that. So eventually it was more like, you know, I'm a child of music. And then as I would go outside
Mhm.
and I would be around my friends and I would experience different relationships and I would experience different types of stories and different experiences throughout the day from different perspectives of many different people that I was hanging around, I would get these ways to tell stories. And
Okay.
also my dad was a writer at one point, and my cousins and everyone around me was making music. So it was almost predestined for me to want to do it. But for me, music is not just a thing that I just do because I do it. Music is something that I do because I'm passionate about it. And when I feel fulfilled and I feel that fire to do it, that's when I do it. I don't force myself to do it. It just happens naturally.
So when you go in the studio, what's your ritual going in the studio?
The ritual, usually me and my producer engineer we'll talk about life. We'll talk about things that happened during our week, last week, things that happened in people that we love, their lives, the things that we want to do, things that's happening in the world. We'll talk about having fun, because more or less music is about having fun, having a good time, sometimes, and we'll create from that. We'll also listen to other music, different artists, and then we'll try to when we make music, we always try to make music that's representing what came before us, but things that are always going to push us in the next direction. And that's how we make music. We want to make music that's pushing the needle forward more and more and more and more. So being more creative, trying to collaborate different sounds, but keeping it, you know, close to core as possible as far as the hip hop.
Right. I definitely like the fact that you said we don't have them big bands no more. That yeah, that talent. I'm not gonna say that talent. Let me for that. I'm gonna say that scene is gone because
Yeah,
it's still bands out there that's still
yeah,
touring and it's still um people who I'm gonna say garage bands. They playing in the basement or they playing in the garage, but they got talent. And
correct,
it's not like that no more. It's definitely just a digital type age, and nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But the passion, the heart, the beat is just not flowing no more. That makes
correct,
sense.
correct.
That definitely makes sense.
I,
Um,
I,
Go ahead.
yeah. No, 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 you're good.
No, do your thing, man.
I no,
Showtime.
I just wanted to agree. It definitely makes sense. Like I said, I think the reason is because also you have it's very hard to discover great talented people because they are in this big box of other people whom are taking up a lot of space. Who are not so talented. But they may have the budget to pay $10,000 in marketing. So you're gonna see their videos more than you see the guy down the block
Mhm.
who's really talented video. That's
Right,
what's
right.
happening. Because you got to have deep pockets to be in this business, right?
Facts,
You got to
facts.
be able to spend money consistently, and artists on this thing, you got to be able to. In this age, because it's not like how it used to be, where you can go around, sell CDs to your trunk and build a name. It's this is a different era now. Now you have to have the marketing. You have to have the marketing that's going to take place where people are mostly watching music, which is on a
Mhm.
device. Everybody's glued to their phones, to the TikToks, to the Instagrams, to the Facebooks, to the YouTubes.
Facts,
So you
facts,
have to
facts.
have a budget, whereas you can keep your music, your videos, your face on these platforms constantly, unless you have until your song goes viral or it catches a label's attention where they say, hey, we want to put some money behind this record. But then you got
Right.
to, they have to believe in that record and they have to believe in you as an artist. Sometimes they don't even, they just believe in the record and don't believe as the artist because they don't want to waste no more money in building the artist. There's no longer artist development. And that's what's happening. This, because, and this is why you're seeing, when everybody look on the news, they see artists are, get into the wrong situations, artists dying left and right because there's no guidance, there's no role models, there's no mentors, not being taught anything. It's just being taught, get a deal, you get on real quick, spend your money, whatever,
Right.
fame, blah 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 blah, blah whatever. Call it a day. It's
Right.
like, are we really making artists to build legacy, to have impact, to make change, to make, you know, to change the narrative, to push the needle forward, to be creative, to know how to speak, to be able to get in front of people, to be able to be role models, to be a spokesperson? Are we really gearing up artists to be like this? Because it's just, like I said, it's bigger than just getting behind the mic and getting up on the stage. You know, as an
Right.
artist, you have a voice, and your voice is the most powerful thing. You know, you have an influence. You know, so what are we doing here? What's the impact? What's the long term impact? Is it just today, gone tomorrow, or is it today, forever? You know,
Right. Well,
so
I'm gonna say first and foremost, you're 100% right. But I believe, and this is like I said, this is my 2 cents. I believe when the music industry was created, because it had to be created. It was never a taught learned situation. It was either you're the artist and getting screwed, or you're with the people doing the screwing. You choose a side.
correct,
Now, as artists grew, they started reach one, teach one, which is beautiful, and that's how
correct,
we evolved to where we at now. But you are right; there are no teachers to teach, but you got to ask yourself, do the new generation want to be taught? Because
correct.
I mean, $100,000 to somebody who actually never touched more than $500 to 1,000,
Mm-hmm.
they gonna feed their family compared to you saying, "Hey, man, don't sign that deal. Listen to what I gotta say. Then in 3 years you can sign that." But you see what I'm saying? As well as, I don't understand how, even when it comes to the teaching, you can literally get up and get on a computer and learn a lot yourself nowadays compared to maybe 20 years ago. You couldn't do that. And
Absolutely.
the times are different because the 360 deal is the worst deal ever. We know that, but
Of
people
course.
are not even. They're not even. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I'm not gonna play with you. It's the horrible deal, but it was a deal that's being offered. Again, if you want to feed your family, you'll take that deal. Um,
Absolutely.
that's not even being offered no more. It's more single deals now,
It's more
for
singles
real.
deals now. You're right. Because they don't want to spend no money.
But here's the trick bag to the single deal. If you got a good team and lawyer, you get the option of the single deal. And what the option is, and I'm gonna put it out there, is they give you a singles deal, but you put in that contract, you have the option if they don't do a certain amount of things or a certain amount of promotion in a certain amount of time, you can go. No
Bounce. Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
No problem. People don't know
Correct.
that though. They don't know about that option, so they just roll with it, and then it's like, okay.
Right.
Um, I can tell you're definitely not just in the music, you're a hip hop head too. Um, when you decide to write your music, are you writing from hip hop, or are you writing from? Let me phrase it. Let me rephrase this. Are you writing from hip hop and reality, or are you trying to take their mind on a journey?
I'm more or less trying to take their mind on a journey through my experiences and through my vision. I think that's where it comes from. I want to take you through uh, a scenic. I want to take you on a scenic route of what I've experienced, more or less. Yeah.
Okay, so it's on a
Um.
journey.
So, but I think the way I approach it is more musically inclined than the hip hop. Because when I listen to a beat, I'm listening to ultimately what the rhythm is telling me what to say. You know, and opposed to just what the beat is telling me what to say. You
Mm,
get what I'm saying? Like
mm.
I'm more focused on the vibrations of the music than just the beat itself. You know,
Heartbeat.
how does this sway me? Where does this take me? How does this move me? You know,
Okay.
so there's all the other things in the music that's happening that I'm inspired by. Some people get going by the tempo. You know, I get inspired by what's happening in between all the other layers that's happening around the tempo that's making this whole body of, you know, magic happen. The emotions, I'm more influenced by the emotions of the record, you know,
Mm, okay.
and
Okay.
that's where I create from. And then if I could pick a moment and an experience, um, something that was said, uh, a memory, a thought, if I can correlate it to the emotions of the record, then
Okay.
I'm clear as day. I'm gonna go. I know what I need to say, without even thinking of what I need to say. It's just gonna tell me what it needs to say. Like, because I'm listening to what the music is telling me. Whatever the music is telling me to say, I'm gonna ultimately vocalize it.
Okay.
You know.
Some of the viewers, they admire your honesty and they feel you're very well spoken.
Thank
And
you.
look, y'all making him blush. Y'all got to stop doing that. Y'all making my man blush on camera. Don't do that. Let's talk about Face to Face. Let's talk about the project. First, why the title Face to Face? Let's jump into that.
Well, ultimately, I think it was more or less just, facing myself, being my own competition, and also being my own worst enemy, and my greatest defender. So I think that's where that title came from, face to face, and also just being honest with myself, and just telling this timeline of all the things that I was repeating to myself, all the things that I was saying to myself
Mm-hmm.
in the mirror, and that's what I was basically captivating throughout the music and everything like that. So I think that's where the title face to face came from. And also there was a song that I made called Face to Face, which also influenced. That was actually the first record that I made that actually influenced us to make the album.
And you know what's so funny? You said that because when I listened to it, that's how I imagined it, talking to yourself or looking in the mirror. Because what people realize it, but they try to play it off. When you getting dressed or you just got an attitude, the world done pissed you off, what you end up doing? You be in front of that mirror
Correct.
saying what you got to say. As well as if you're an artist or in our field, I'm going to say, sometimes you look in that mirror and if you're not rehearsing, you're trying to see your own facial expressions and trying to understand
Correct.
what you're doing. And that's how when I listened to the song, I thought about that because to me, looking in the mirror is like looking in your soul. You're seeing a different side of
Correct.
what you are. So that was deep right there. I definitely like that, bro. That because when I
Yeah.
listened to it, I said, okay, I wonder if he's going for that. So I
That's who
definitely
you're
want to ask.
competing against. That's who you're competing against. That's your competitor. If I don't know if you ever watched a movie called Creed, with Rocky Balboa, et cetera, and he
Yeah,
was like telling it honestly. He was like, look, that's who you're fighting when you're in the ring, right there. That guy that you're looking at in the mirror.
facts, facts.
So if you jab, flip the jab. That's what you're doing right there. You got to know how to, you know what I mean? That's it's a big thing. It's very deep. But at the end of the day, that's all we're competing against. We're not competing against nobody else. Like,
Right.
you know, uh, because once you're able to win, you you'll be okay. You know, you'll be okay.
The key is to win too. Definitely, it's all about winning. Um,
Correct.
Night Shift. How do we come about with the title and the song?
I think we're just having fun. Just wanting to have something that you know people and club environments can have fun to, can relate to, can bounce to. The beat was fun. It was just some things that I was saying in the studio that night. Literally, it was not even a oh, let's make this type of song. It was just what the beat was telling me to say, and I was like, okay, maybe what's something that I could say that everybody can relate to in a nightclub, in a strip club, and wherever where it's just a little bit more vulgar, a little bit more you know, sexy, a little more advanced, catchy, obviously, something that people can relate to while they're having a good time in these particular environments. And I was like, okay, maybe I think we should say this. And I was just repeating the hook. And Nosh, my engineer, was like, you should actually say that. And the
Okay.
first line was like, you know, it's a great song.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I had to ask about the title
you
because
know,
when I listen to music, I listen
yeah,
to not just the words, the beat, the rhythm, as you say, and then I look at the title because sometimes a title don't go with that song or the meaning don't go with that title. So I had to ask
right,
about Night Shift.
right.
This
Great
next
record,
song,
actually. It's a
yes,
great
y'all
song.
listen. Night Shift, Face to Face, yeah, it's a treat. Y'all
Yeah,
missing it.
it
This
don't
next
stop.
song, I'm definitely very curious on. Let's talk about Basic Bitch. Let's talk
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
How did you come
Great
about
record
that
also.
and why? Let's go.
Well, I honestly, I just wanted to, you know, uh, I wanted to, enforce a conversation amongst the things that we're seeing in the media. I feel like a lot of, the girls that are natural, the girls that are actually out there really, doing phenomenal things aren't getting the flowers is what we're saying nowadays, I guess. I feel like a lot of those who are counterfeit are the ones who are unfortunately, reaping the notoriety. It's unfortunate, and so I kind of wanted to like put, you know, these regular people in their place. Like stop it. You're not really on the plane. You're not really, in those
Right.
bands. You're not really in a V. You're not really doing these things. You're on Instagram pretending your life. Basically, I wanted to really like put everyone in their place that's pretending to be somebody, pretending to do something, pretending not being the real them. That's really what I was getting at in that song. I just wanted to say basic bitch because it's like the term. I felt like everybody could say that. Like that's some basic shit. Like you're basic. You're on the media pretending to be somebody you're not. That's the sad thing.
Right.
Um and so all the incidents that was I was mentioning in the song, was hopefully to you know, you know, eventually make people realize like what we're doing is really not it. Let's
Right.
take a step back and really recognize the reality of what we're doing, you know, and change the narrative a little bit.
Right.
That's really what basic was for.
And it's funny about that, man, because keyword has changed the narrative of being basic. What I don't understand is by now people haven't realized when these cameras off, everybody's normal. Half these
And
people watching TV, scratching their ass, doing the same thing you doing,
you
and
don't
then when they
have
go
to
outside, it's come on,
look
man.
between you and I.
What's up?
I
Speak your mind.
am anti social media. Like I cannot.
Really?
I
Really?
wish. I wish this shit was done. I wish social media just goes away. It's sad that people have to feel appreciated, feel
Hmm.
like they are alive, like they're worth something because of
Right.
this thing that we have in our hands. Isn't that amazing? Is it like I don't even think people were like isn't that amazing? Like people cannot survive without being on like Instagram. Think about this. This is amazing. This is a device. It's a device. It's an
Right.
app, and we are in a world with real people, and we walk by thousands of people throughout our lives. Think about how many people you walk past. You don't
Hmm.
even know them, but you
Right.
would rather get to potentially know them through an app and not even get to really know the real them. And they could fake everything, and you
Can
won't
they
even know
do?
the
They do.
and
What
you
you
won't
mean?
even
They
know.
do.
And they do. It's amazing. It's now. Granted, I grant you this. Some people use it for positive gain, to
Right. Like
positive
anything.
messages, etc. I grant you that one. I think that's important. But let's really be around each other. Let's let's really be around each other. Let's interact on a personal level. You don't get the same energy through the device as you would get in the person. You know what I mean? Like face to face, being next to that person, talking to that person. All these things, the human connection is so important. And artists, we're trying to live this life through these devices. It don't work like that. You still have to go out in the streets, you have to
Right.
meet people, you have to perform. You can
Right.
perform on the internet all day long. You could do virtual performances. That doesn't fly. That's not. I granted you're in Africa. I'm in New York. You want to see me, but until you really get in front of me,
Hmm.
feel see my body language, see
Right.
my like all these energies, all these muscles, all these things, you're not
Hmm.
gonna know what it feels like to be around me. You're just gonna know, oh, I saw him, but you don't know how it feels to really absorb and experience being. That's what made it different about the '90s,
Excuse me.
2000s, where they didn't have Instagram. So guess what happened? They didn't have phones like what we have now. So what happened when you went to go to a show? You was like, man, I'm gonna make sure this shit is stuck in my memory when I leave tonight. That's all you had. You had a memory Brain, eyes, ears, the experience. And you had to harness that moment. And guess what? You appreciated it more because you knew you couldn't re-record it. You didn't have anything, so you had to record it right here. So it made you value it more. It made you value the artist more. It made that artist wow factor times a million. So
Right.
now we're in the age where you see artists every day. So it's like, oh, I don't wow factor is zero. I see you all the time. Why am I going to be excited to see you? I see you every day. What's different? What's
Yeah.
different? So that's the there's positive and there's negative, but I just wish there was a different thing that we could utilize that would really bring people together and really because you got people
Excuse me.
there's thousands of people who comment on each other's posts, but none of these people know each other. And they'll debate about something and don't even know each other from a hole in the wall. It's amazing. It's amazing what this media has done to us. It's amazing. But that's a whole nother topic. I'm like, yeah.
But you know what though? To
Yeah,
piggyback off what you're saying, that is another topic. But as well as look at what media's done. But at the same time, you got to take good with the bad because the same platform that is doing bad is helping out at the same time. So every time the world
correct.
evolves, it's going to be a yin and yang, or if it's not a yin and yang, where's the balance at? It can't just be one or the other. It's got to be both.
Correct. You're absolutely right. That's what I said. There's positive, there's negative. Fortunately, you got to take the good with the bad. It is what it is, But I wish that when I went on the subway or if I went out in public, I just see
Mm,
the whole world with their heads down. That amazes me.
mm,
That right there really amazes me, and it goes to show you how manipulated we are. Like how it's amazing. And then it's a whole nother thing. But it's like, okay, you arrest the guy who sold you weed, put him in jail for 100 years. I'm just
right.
being, but then you won't arrest these people who are sitting in these offices, coming up with creative ways to keep people addicted to a device. It's amazing, which is a drug. It amazes me. You get the whole world to look to literally spend 20 hours a day on a device. That's amazing. It's amazing how they can like. It's amazing. I'm just saying, it mind boggles me. But anyway, that's a whole nother discussion. You know, I'm glad that we
um.
have the device because we're talking right now. So
Oh
we
yeah,
can
bro.
have
I
this.
mean, conversation rule the nation, bro. That's how you.
Right.
Even though like these a lot of podcasts, people look at them as a smaller platform or the bottom of media. It's not because we sitting here having a regular conversation like we sitting at a coffee table. You know
Correct.
what I'm saying? And it's not just fun. It's teaching as well as somebody could be right now writing these nuggets. If y'all smart, y'all be writing these nuggets down because it's definitely we really just gave y'all what to really do in your career if y'all think about it.
Correct.
Do me a favor. Let the people know where to find you on social media or if they want to get face to face or your tours or anything.
Yeah, face to face, you can go to Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube Music, Amazon Music. It's available for download on all those platforms. So, like, I can't stress enough, just download the album, the stream it, just download it, put it in your phone, keep it forever, store it
Right,
there
right.
on that end. And, eventually we'll have some memorabilia for the fans, the public, the people to actually have something that's associated with the music because we want to give them the tangibles as well, besides just the music form of of the project. The Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, every at underscore everything HD, YouTube as well. It's all the same. Everything HD, all the same.
How you get the name HD, bro? That's very different. How you get the name HD?
Well, I think what I did was when I was given a name when I was 16 years old, I was given the name Young HD, and then what I did was I sort of came up with a more um, not meaningful, but more of a metaphorical way of saying of HD. And as I'm going through my career, as I'm learning, as I'm becoming me as a person, you know, more or less, I just come up with this idea that maybe I am this uh, clear vision for the youth, for the generation, for people, no matter how you perceive me or receive me, whether it's through my music, whether it's through my business ventures, no matter whatever vortex you experience me in, I am that vision, that clear perfect HD vision. I think that's important. So that's how the name came about with just the HD.
Okay, I can do that. This next song I want to talk about actually is I like it. I've played it numerous times. Let's talk about Ghetto Sunday.
Yeah,
Let's talk about that, man. I mean, I like it.
phenomenal
It's
record. You know, that song was also a song that was inspired by the what the record was telling me to say. You know, when I first heard the record, it was more the woman in the background, you know, saying these words and um, the hi hats, the instrumentation that was in the record. And I was just driving at that. I was there in that time. I was listening to the record. I was in my car, and I was driving, and then I was just trying to figure out, you know, what would be the best way to, you know, capitalize off what this woman is saying in the song. And as I'm driving through Brooklyn, I'm just seeing different people. I'm seeing how they're interacting with their neighborhoods. But I'm seeing, you know, single moms. I'm seeing teachers with the kids at schools. I'm seeing the kids get out of school.
Mhm.
I'm thinking about my mom. I'm thinking about, you know, my environment. I'm thinking about all these different things. I'm thinking about the flag. I'm thinking about what it really means. I'm thinking about people and what we mean in this in this country. And more or less, I wanted to say, you know, after all these things that I was envisioning, I wanted to say I pledge allegiance to you guys, you know, to the single mom, to the families, to the, you know, young generation. I pledge allegiance to the people first.
Okay.
You know, more than anything, because you deserve that. You know, without the
Right.
people, there's no flag. You know, so I pledge allegiance to the people first, and that's more or less where the idea of that song came from. And
Okay.
I gave you I gave them three verses of it, right? I gave you different scenarios. I gave you, you know, my neighborhood where I grew up, where you idolizing the drug dealer was a big thing, you
Mhm.
know. And then I gave you the third verse where if you idolize a drug dealer, this is where you're going to end up, and this is the
Right.
road of that dealer. But this is what that dealer is doing. He's ultimately my dad, he's ultimately doing this so he can provide for this and this and this and this and this, you know. But he has an ambition to do good, but in the same time also doing, you know, wrong in that sense. But this is the adverse effects of these things. But then on the flip side, tell you, okay, but here's another way of doing it. You could be like the mom, my mom, whom is doesn't have that father figure in her life, but she's also the single mom, but also doing what she needs to do to help her kids, you know. But then I'm also telling you about teachers whom are also responsible for the young generation and inspiring and teaching the kids, you know. So it's many different things many different topics I was trying to encapsulate on that record, but more
Okay.
or less simplify what everybody can understand it on a simpler level.
On a dumbed down level, just say it. Just say the
Yeah,
truth
just
on a dumbed
yeah,
down level.
yeah. You know, uh, it's a great record. Yeah, to the orphans, to the, you know, it was to the hopeless. You know, people whom you know, may grow up in situations where there's a lack of resources, but they still maintain hope, and they
Right.
still, you know, dig deep and figure out ways to think outside the box and get outside their neighborhoods and go and explore and, you know, grab onto those who are trying to influence them in a positive way. I think that's also important. But those are more or less the topics. And the video was basically just being a metaphor for what I was saying in the song as well. The way we were getting the video and the shots and everything like that.
Okay. You had an opportunity to work with two artists right now.
hmm
Who are they? Go.
Hmm. I would work with Rihanna, and I would work with Alicia Keys.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't
Right
see that
now.
coming. Didn't
Right
see
now.
that coming.
Right
That
now.
was a
If
blitz
I
play.
like with my body, like right now, if I said I wanted to make a song, it would be a song with Rihanna. It would be a song with Alicia Keys right now. If I wanted to go to the studio, if I had this chance to say, okay, I can have them in the studio right now. Yeah. Because I feel like Alicia has that soul. She has the warmth, the poeticness. She has the R&B. She has that voice that, you know, can influence. uh, cultural progression, uh, and then Rihanna has that like you know fun, funky, cool, swaggy, feel good, be great, lift off, light, beauty,
Right, right.
passion, you know, great time, elevation. So I don't know. I'm just feeling like that right now, more or less. Like yeah,
Okay, I mean, and like I said, bro, I wasn't expecting that. That was a good. That was definitely a different, and that was a good choice. I like how you broke each one down, and that let me know you mean what you say, and you
yeah,
already ready to. If that happens, you ready to go. You already know what you want to
yeah. It
do.
would be a great
You're gone.
day.
The brand of HD. What else are we doing other than music? What else is the HD brand doing?
I think right now, what else we're the goal, the overall goal is to brand the HD. Right now, we're gonna potentially brand it with the brand Reservoir, the record company that was founded by myself, TK, and our other business partner Eric. The idea is to eventually collab the two. So HD is the face of Reservoir, the company, and
Okay.
whatever we do as a company, HD is associated with. So basically, HD would be like the brand ambassador for Reservoir,
Brand
basically,
ambassador. You're a
for
brand
the
ambassador
company.
yourself.
Correct. For the company, though, for the overall brand. So it stands behind me. So ultimately, to influence people to buy into the brand, they buy into the brand, they buy into the music, into what I'm giving them, ultimately, because I am the face of the company on the music spectrum. So that's the overall
Good cleanup.
idea.
Good
That's what we're
cleanup. Good
doing
cleanup.
or potentially doing. Yeah. So that's
Um,
that's the next thing.
how is it being a brand ambassador, not just for your brand, but being a brand ambassador for other brands too? How's that going for you? How you feel about that?
Well, we were considering Plush Vodka. Eric, introduced the idea, so that's another field that we're tapping into. I'm not saying we're all the way there, but it's an idea. It's something that we're thinking about. I'm thinking about, um, you know, being associated with the alcohol and pushing that narrative in addition to the
Mhm.
music. So it's a working relationship right now. But I think more or less the focus really is just the brand, the Reservoir brand, because we are a new record company. We are a new record label. So I think we just, the focus is to just continuously push the brand of the record company in addition to the artist and to the music. We really want to be the forefront before anything else.
Facts.
But if it
Are you
makes
doing any?
sense, we will do it. Like if it makes with any other brand, if any other brand came and said, "Hey, H, we want you to be the brand ambassador," has to make sense. It almost has to culturally make sense to what we're doing and our influence and what we see what's right
Fact.
for us. And it has to make sense. It has to go together. It just can't be something that it's just we're just doing it just because we can make a few dollars off promoting this brand. You know what I mean? Because it is
Excuse me.
marketing. It is all those other things. It takes time, right? You have to be fully engaged and fully committed to promoting another brand when you're also building a brand yourself. So I think right now we're in the position just to right now continue to, you know, build our brand and not just, you know, on a apparel level, but many different business aspects, right? Which I've always been very keen on as far as looking in different markets, looking at different businesses, different ideas, different things. Real
Mhm.
estate. I'm heavily involved in real estate. That's a really big thing for me right now in my life, and so that's my focus. My main focus is to grow in that field because that's something that a lot of artists don't tap into, right? Where there's a lot of influence because real estate ultimately shapes how we interact with each other, right? And it ultimately it shapes many different things. So it's another field that I want to really just magnify
Okay.
with myself into, and also hopefully influencing the Reservoir brand to eventually start venturing into other real estate opportunities in the
Mm.
near future. You
Investments.
know,
Definitely,
yeah,
definitely. It's a good thing.
yeah.
Um, if you had an opportunity to leave a message, whether it's in a time capsule, um, in a notebook, what would it be? Or if it's even in your music, what would it be to the world? What would that message be?
Hmm. I have
Ooh,
so many. It's so many. um, at the end of the day, it's not about taking and receiving. When all's said and done, it's all about giving back.
okay.
Because at a point it comes in life where if you're fulfilled as within yourself, if you're fulfilled financially, economically, spiritually, mentally, if you feel like you checked off all the boxes that you wanted to obtain, eventually you'll feel like, okay, so what's next? I
Facts.
feel it now. So it's like, what do you do? Like, it's ultimately not just to take. You got to be able to start giving, like teaching, educating,
Mm-hmm.
giving back, because it's not about take, 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 and that's what's happening now, unfortunately, when the world
Right.
where life is like it's take and don't want to give, and so when that happens, is you get crime, people break laws, all those
Um,
things,
you know
right?
what? I agree. I agree with that, but at the same time, I think people go break the law. Period. Some people
Period.
do it
Yeah,
to
yeah.
survive.
I'm just throwing
Right.
a general statement there. That's all. But I think it's really important that we continue to spiritually give, emotionally give, uh, because that's what's gonna make the world go round. And I think that's really what it is. It's not about just, at some point you're gonna. Some people always think, oh, if I had all the money in the world, okay, then what? You're gonna have all the things to buy, and then what? What else do you do next? Right? It's like, what else do you do next?
Right.
Go to space? And then you
Listen.
go to space, you're like, all right, what's next? Okay. Look, you're gonna have to you know,
Right.
do something that's gonna impact the next person so they could also magnify their potential, you
Right.
know. So I think that's really the key. Right now we're actually almost done with our project. I'm a part of this project called Hope House, and it's
Okay.
a facility that we're building in the Bronx, and it's where people with mental disability and people whom are recently released from prison can go to get some reform, which is very important, and get them reform, whereas they can go out and get regular jobs and go work and go maximize their potential and their art and their creative, right? But how do they do that if they don't have the direction and the guidance and the resources to magnify and maximize themselves? So that's really important to me, and that's one of the ways that I want to give back to people, um, in that sense. Yeah.
I dig that. Um, Man, our time is then wind down. But I would definitely love to have you back on the show, not just to talk about your brand, but to talk about other
Absolutely.
topics. Cause we can go on forever on this one, bro. I mean, like I said, I like conversation as well as I like hearing what people's mind got to say compared to um, the basic usual, if that makes sense.
Correct. Correct.
So do me a favor again, let everybody know where to find you on social media and where to get the projects and where to follow the HD brand.
Yes, everything HD on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Again, that's at everything HD. Make sure you go get the album Face to Face. Again, that's Face to Face the album. It's a phenomenal album, a phenomenal piece of work. Make sure you go download it, stream it, share it. More things are coming along. Just be patient, because when we release it, it'll be a surprise, but it's going to be great every step of the way. So keep your eyes open.
And we shall. We shall, bro. I
Yeah.
gotta congratulate you on your success as well as man, you're a humble person and
Thank
you
you.
know what you want, you know where you want to go, you know who you want to work with, and you know what you will and want to allow. You're very not just educated on music, but educated on the business side of showmanship and everything. Um, keep doing what you're doing, my guy, and go to the
Likewise.
stars. Next time you come, though, man, bring me a chopped cheese, man.
I got you. I got you. I
I
got you.
appreciate you, champ. I do, man. That's
Absolutely.
blessings,
All
man. Keep
right.
doing your thing.
Likewise. Likewise. Thank you for the opportunity.
Man, thank you.
All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was HD We had a good conversation. There's more to come. We definitely gonna get him back on here. Man, listen, y'all gotta follow, like, and subscribe. We are on Spotify Podcast, iHeartRadio. We're trying to get on Amazon. Of course, we're on YouTube as well as Facebook. So we're definitely expanding out. The team is working hard. Shout out to the Imperial family, because we got so much stuff on the table. It's coming from left and right. To all the viewers that watched today, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the support and the love, as well as, we got things going on with Touch Vodka, as well as Nirvana Gin and Vodka, and there's other opportunities out there. So, man, all I can say is, like he said, the brand is out there, and we are a brand, and we are going to the top. Man, y'all stay tuned in and like, follow, share, and subscribe. And hey, man, listen, they call me Mr. What He Gonna Do Next. And I want y'all to keep following and watching, because y'all don't know what I'm going to do next. But believe me, it will entertain you and wow you. So y'all be good on this Thursday. I'll be back again. We have a Mother's Day special coming up, a Father's Day special, and other guests coming from comedians to youth teachers, as well as other artists and producers. And y'all be look out, man. Your boy did a little acting. It's a film called Dre Day. Y'all get ready to check that out. And Barbecue Pimp 2. It's other little things. Make sure y'all get on Amazon and check out The Diamond Texter. That's definitely a good movie. I checked out last night and had the opportunity to hang out with the cast and converse with them. So y'all check that out, man. I gotta go. I got places to go, people to do, and things to see.